Alright, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Watch Darius TV. I'm back with another review. This is of P-Valley Season 2, Episode 9, Snow. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, do all that stuff like that. I want to first start off with saying this episode starts with Andre, basically. He's having some fun with some strippers. I thought that basically this was a dream that he was having. I thought he was just dreaming of being in a club and stuff like that. But he's actually using his strippers to get people to go to vote. So that's a pretty interesting way of getting people to vote. He's getting people to go to the polls by getting women that have careers where they're on the polls. I thought that was pretty interesting that he, set that up. I just didn't think that he would really pull that off, basically. But this is the world of P Valley, so what do you expect? Um, Patrice decides to crash his campaign, completely just rains on his parade, but she literally rains on it with bills, basically. She gets into a little bit of preaching and stuff like that, even does some what I like to call Bible booty bouncing, basically. So she decides to do a little bit of stripping herself, basically, but still incorporate some preaching into it. She decides she's not going to drop out of campaign, and the money that Corbin gave her to bribe her to drop out of it, she ends up making it rain on all the people there. So Patrice basically shows that she's going to stay in this this race. So that's interesting. Ernestine is going crazy in the hospital after having visions of her dead daughter. So COVID is really, I guess, starting to eat away at her brain. I don't know if this is dementia or Alzheimer's. I'm not sure what's going on here, but she's basically straight up losing her mind. Plus, she's blind, so that's not really a good mix. Clifford talks about how famous Little Murder has gotten. He's really becoming more and more of a bigger star, and he may be moving on. To other things. So showing that their relationship might be ending soon. I doubt it is, but he's sort of making it seem like it is. Plus, also, Clifford is happy that his club is finally reopening, after, COVID had an outbreak. Autumn is told by Krishan her plan to escape, basically. Krishan, I had a feeling, I thought in this episode she was going to be stopped from, moving on and stuff like that. I thought that maybe her crazy boyfriend was going to try to stop her, or she might get killed or something like that. But, that's what I had a feeling was probably going to happen to her in this episode. I'm happy it didn't. Autumn plans to basically sell the pink and turn it into a casino. So, that we find out that's what her plan is. That's what Autumn wants to do. And everybody's, of course, against it, but that's what she wants to do. Autumn really, I love Autumn's character development throughout this show. Basically within a season, she went from being a stripper to a businesswoman. I like that. I just didn't see her character really evolving and going so high up. With this show taking place, this show being on STARZ, it kind of reminded me a lot of that one show that had one season. Most people who's watching this probably may not even know about it, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of P Valley. This show called Flesh and Bone, or I think it's called. It's like this TV show. It's like a ballerina show, but this show kind of reminds me of that in a way. If anybody ever sees that show, check it out. It's on STARZ. It's a show about this woman struggling to become a ballerina and stuff like that. I know it sounds like Black Swan, but it's not. But it kind of reminds me a lot of P Valley when it comes down to having the main female character rise up above everybody else. But anyway, let's get back to P Valley. Clifford clearly, Diamond clearly wants Krishan, but Big Bone basically cuts into that. They have a scene where they're talking together and stuff like that, and their eyes are locked on each other, and Big Bone sort of steps in and cuts all of that out. So basically showing that Diamond still has strong feelings for her, but he's basically, I'm guessing, using Big Bone as just a temporary distraction. Mercedes is still struggling on pole, basically. Clifford thought that he was going to basically prove Autumn wrong, but Mercedes is still struggling. She's basically past her prime, never got a chance to do her last dance. So, showing her time is up now as a stripper. Roulette calls Mercedes out for struggling. That causes some tension between them two. And Autumn tries to basically sort of intervene and help Mercedes out, but that causes them two to get into an argument over murder night. The whole incident happened at the end of last season. So, but Krishan ends up deciding to come up with a plan where all the money that she's getting, they can all just split and stuff like that amongst each other. But Mercedes isn't trying to hear that. She storms off because she knows that basically she's past her prime and she wants to be on top. She doesn't like the fact that Krishan is basically taking her crown. and her and Clifford talk it out. And I love Clifford's quote in this episode. He says, "Even castles crumble, especially when they're made from sand." I thought that was just a really cool quote that he had. Yeah, really interesting. But yeah, basically her time is coming up to an end. So sorry, Mercedes. Farah wants to reconnect with Mercedes. She knows that Mercedes is, Farah wants to reconnect with Mercedes, and she ends up bringing her to this like museum, this art gallery. I mean, and it shows Mercedes and basically all her stripper glory through the photos that they took earlier this season. Farah is divorcing her husband. I hate to hear that, but they're divorcing, so that's coming to an end. And she sort of basically tries to hook up with Mercedes, but Mercedes is like, "I'm only gay for pay," basically. So, that's what she says, and they basically part ways. Mercedes gets a confidence boost from this little interaction that they've had. So yeah, she's only gay for pay, basically. So Big Bone bumps into Krishan, and they have a talk, and basically Big Bone ends up coming off very hostile. You know, she knows that Krishan is leaving. Somehow she found out about that. Maybe she overheard her or something like that. She also knows that Krishan can take Diamond too, so she doesn't like that. But this woman definitely, Big Bone, is really, coming at her with some real hostility because she's jealous because she knows that basically she's going to end up, getting at her, getting at her man, and she don't like that. Then there's a scene. Hold on, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So basically, there's a scene where Autumn ends up completely just puking in this dirty toilet. I already knew that basically she was pregnant when I first saw the scene, and then one of my favorite characters, the sexy weirdo Whisper, comes up to her and tells her that basically she's having twins. So we already know that both of those are going to be Andre's kids, and this was not what she was looking forward to. But yeah, this is pretty crazy change of events that now Autumn is pregnant. Wow, Lauren Hawkins ends up making her return, and she's basically patrolling the club, making sure that there's not too many people coming to the club because after her last event, where a stripper sneezed in her face, she basically wants everything to be up to code. I always find it kind of weird. What was Lauren Hawkins doing at the Pink? I thought that I don't know if the character is like a lesbian or anything like that. I just figured she would probably be in a male strip club. I didn't know why would she be in a women's strip club with having women dancing on her. I don't know. Maybe the character is a lesbian. I don't know. I don't know. If anybody can comment on that, I found that kind of confusing. But anyway, Clifford ends up firing Toy, the stripper named Toy, because he claims that she gave his grandmother COVID, and this whole scene reminds me of how crazy people acted when COVID first happened. People were really losing their minds, and basically he ends up firing her. I thought it was maybe a joke at first, but really he got her up out of here. So wow, that was pretty intense. Megan Thee Stallion shows up with Little Murder, and we already saw, I think, a little cameo of Megan Thee Stallion earlier this season, so I already heard that she was going to be on the show. So she finally makes her appearance as her alter ego, Tina Snow, her rapping alter ego, I guess. Maine knows that Little Murder had basically something to do with Pico's murder, so he's going to be gunning for him, no pun intended. Clifford, then there's a scene where Little Murder, Megan Thee Stallion, and Clifford are all talking, and then Meg, flirts a little bit with Little Murder, and we can tell Clifford ain't really feeling that. That was kind of funny. Toya basically is scared she's going to end up being homeless, and Roulette gives her money to work for her. We know this isn't going to end well, because basically Roulette is into all kinds of crazy stuff, so yeah, we know this isn't going to end well for that stripper. Corbin meets up with Clifford in the Paradise Room, and I think he gives him $250K, I think. I hope it's not that much, but gives him $250K for a spanking. So, wow. I don't know what was crazier, the $250K for the spanking or the fact that Corbin was into that. I don't remember the character from season 1. I don't know if he was into this stuff, but, that was a bit much. Wow, I didn't think that Corbin was into that, getting spanked and stuff. But anyway, wow, that was a wild scene. But anyway, Duffy, then there's a scene where Duffy and Roulette are talking, and their relationship is getting closer and closer, and I found it kind of weird. When he was talking, I don't know if he got a southern accent or if that's a a black accent, as they like to call black accent. I don't know which one was he putting on. I'm assuming that was just a southern accent, but some of the way he talked, it was sounding like he was trying to sound black, basically. I don't know what was up with that. I don't, the character Duffy, I don't know. If anybody else heard that comment on this video, but I'm like, I don't know if that was that a southern accent or was that a black accent? I don't know. But anyway, Megan Thee Stallion performs her song and stuff like that. She's doing her thing, and Maine, he sees Krishan dancing and stuff like that, and he compliments her. You know, she's like, man, she's dancing like this is her last. You know, I thought Krishan, like I said, was going to get shot possibly in a club. I'm happy nothing happened to her, but during this scene where Maine is complimenting her, this sort of hurts Mercedes' feelings more because she knows that she'll never get a chance to have her last dance, but she's also happy for Krishan. So it's sort of like a passing the torch type of thing going on. It's good to see that. She hates it to let it go, but, you know, it's like, hey, I got to let, you know, pass on to the newer generation. Then there is a N-word moment that pops off in the club, basically. If you know what I'm talking about when I say an N-word moment, that's a reference to the Boondocks. I can't say what I really want to say because I might get demonetized, but you know what I'm talking about when I say N-word moment. It pops off in the club with Maine, and then they start boxing, and a whole bunch of disastrous stuff start popping off in the club. Diamond turns into a white knight and he goes and saves Krishan and they kiss. Big Bone sees this, so you know she's going to be plotting against Krishan and Diamond. So we already know that's not going to end well for one of them two. Little Murder tells Clifford about his gangbanging activities, basically about what happened in the club, and Clifford tells him that he needs to get some security. Clifford finds the drugs that are being sold in his club, and he ends up confronting Big Bone about it. They get into a huge argument. Big Bone tells Clifford that Autumn will bring his business down and basically makes a reference to the fact that maybe that she should end up being killed. Clifford ends up firing Big Bone, and now Big Bone possibly might be an op. He might be some type of enemy going on from this point forward. Clifford hates that he had to do that to him, but, you know, Clifford, he's really damaging his business, so he had to fire Big L. You know, I hate to see that happen between them two. Then Clifford gets a call on the phone, and it could be either his grandmother is dead or she could be dying. We don't know yet, but I think it's one of them two. Either she's dead or she's dying, but definitely we can tell she's dying, so she might be dead. Murder compliments Mercedes about her dance and stuff like that, give her a little bit more of a confidence boost since her career is pretty much over with now. Pico's baby mama is crying about him, you know, outside the club and stuff like that, so you know that his team is going to be really going for a little murder and stuff like that. It's going to be a full-out gang war, you can tell. Clifford encourages Krishan to leave and get something better, get something that's out of the club, you know, and move on, and she leaves, you know. I hope she can get away from her crazy boyfriend, but I get a feeling Big Bone might possibly find some way to derail her exit, possibly, my opinion. And then the episode ends with a cliffhanger. This episode was a really good setup for the final episode of the season. I don't know how much I can really talk because my videos are acting weird, so I'm trying to keep this as fast as I can, but I already said my predictions of what I think is going to happen throughout this video. I don't know when this video right now is going to shut off because my phone is cheap and I need to get a new one. So my videos might be trying to make them shorter and I could cut into 2 parts. But like I said, this episode was really good. This is a good setup for tonight's episode. I know it's going to be coming out Saturday night, you know, or maybe Sunday night, but most likely it's going to come out early. We already know how STARZ do it. But if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'm going to be doing a review of the last episode of this season. I can't talk too much because my video is going to cut out. But yeah, this episode was really good, a good setup. And if you like this video, subscribe to Watch Darius TV.